What is up, guys? I am back with another video, and today I decided to do just another story time because the province is they just went into lockdown, so I'm gonna be stuck in here for the next month, and I thought now would be a time to throw in another story time. So yeah, and if you read the title and clicked this video, I'm pretty sure you're asking yourself, Chris, how did you almost end up in jail? What type of savage activity were you doing to potentially incarcerate yourself? What type of coonery did you have to do, Chris, to nearly incriminate yourself? What type of Suwu Chief Sosa Blood Den Till I Die posted on the 63rd block type of street level activity did you have to do, Chris, to nearly end up in jail? And the truth is, well, none. Me and my friend, well, we almost killed someone. Now, this story took place about just over a year ago, and this all started when, all right, so there's me and the second guy involved in the story. I'm not gonna expose him or put him out there. We're just gonna call him Jason. All right. So there's this guy named Jason, right? That I used to work with, sometimes chill with. All right. We're like, you know what I mean? Like every time we see each other, like, you know what I mean? We'll kick it for a bit, talk, catch up, whatever. I wouldn't say Jason's like an acquaintance. I'd say he's like my boy, you know? Like we don't really hang out like that, but when we do see each other, we'll kick it, we'll catch up. You know, it's good vibes, all that. Right now, Jason was the type of person who I'd say at the time he did not have his priorities together. Jason was the type of person, if you were working with him and he had a shift scheduled with you, most likely he was just gonna ditch that shift and just go out and party and go to the club and all that. So Jason was, at the time, he was just the type of a guy to like not really have his priorities straight. But eventually, you know, he came around and he started cleaning up his act and everything like that. And then one time I was picking him up and then he asked me, yo, could I get a mini lesson? And to be honest, I didn't really want to, but he kept asking me about it. So then I thought, you know what, what's 5 minutes? 5 minutes is not gonna hurt, okay? He told me too that he's driven in his friend's car to Gatineau before across the bridge. So I thought, all right, 5 minutes will not hurt. Those 5 minutes were the scariest 5 minutes of my life. This man, I'm giving him, you know, basic instructions. He's following me, but at the same time, he's like jerking the wheel. He's doing like 40 kilometers in a 25-kilometer street. Like he was just doing the most, all right? So Jason, and especially when I told him to just pull to the side so I could switch, this man literally went to a curb, and that's when I knew, okay, this is a bad sign to never let Jason drive the car. All right, now fast forward to a couple months later and I'm in the middle of work and Jason hits me up. He's calling me and he's saying, yo, Chris, I was wondering, you know, if I could start getting lessons. Like, I really want to like get my priorities straight. And at first I said no, but then I thought and I realized, okay, well, I could clearly tell because at that time he was actually trying to get his priorities straight. He wasn't partying Saturday nights no more or anything like that. He wasn't doing any of that. So I thought, you know what? Let me give him a shot. Which was a bad idea, but I thought, you know what, let me give him a shot. So once we decided to meet up, we decided, okay, Sunday nights will work best. Since Saturdays can't work, Sunday nights will do. But after a while, I was just putting it off just because certain things will come up or he had things that would come up. So for a while, we just didn't do it at all. Until one night, I went out on the road and he hit me up at the time. I was just making a quick run to the grocery store and he hit me up. So I thought, you know what, I have an hour to spare, so I wouldn't mind. So I drove up to his neighborhood. I pick him up. All right, now quick side note is that at that time too, my mom, she was not letting me use her car at all because I was just, you know, taking it without her permission and all that. And I was just using it way too much. So she just told me to straight up, you know, you're not touching the car anymore. So at that time, I was like, you know, fine, sure. But that night, what turned into just a quick run to, you know, the gas station while she was asleep, basically turned into this, which will be important for what's about to happen. And we get started. And for that whole hour, everything is good. Everything, mind you guys, everything is good for that first hour. Nothing happens. But ironically, at the 58th minute of that hour, all right, this is literally, it was 12:58 a.m. The plan was to finish by 1 a.m. So we're 2 minutes away, all right? Now that whole time we were driving around like small neighborhoods. He was getting the hang of, you know, the wheel and everything like that. And my mom's car, it's a pretty, you know, fast car. And if you press the gas, it'll go pretty fast if you don't know how to handle it pretty well. So for that whole hour, I thought, okay, this guy is breaking into the car. He's getting used to it. Until we hit a three-way stop. There's like a road to the side. So cars are passing left and right or there's barely any cars. This is like middle of the night, right? So we go up to the sign, we stop, we look, and then I tell him to go, but then I tell him to stop because there's a car coming from the left side. So we let that car go. Then I tell him, all right, you're good to go. So we turn and At the time when I was there, I looked to the side and there were about 3 cars lined up. And this was a small road, as those other cars that were parked to the side basically took up most of the space on the road. So basically, we're trying to turn to the right, and there's like a little speed, not a speed bump, but like those like speed stick things that like the city puts into the ground in the middle of the road so people don't like speed or whatever. So basically, I tell him to turn right. He turns right, but then there's a car that's coming in. I don't think it was speeding, but there was a car that came in, and it came in zooming, but we didn't see it because I guess like the cars on the side were like blocking like our angle or whatever. So the car goes by, and then he turns, but he didn't see the car. So then once we saw the car, as he's turning, he's not trying to hit that car. He's not trying to hit the pole. And me right away, I'm telling him, turn right, Jason, turn right, just keep turning right. And that was a mistake. And as he's turning right, I didn't realize that there's not a lot of space between those parked cars and the other car that was going by to just turn around and maneuver his way around and just keep going. Plus, he is like, this is his first night driving out and actually getting a full lesson. So he's like still a beginner. And mind you, like my mom's car is pretty fast when you press the gas pedal. So as soon as he turned right, this man panics, all right? And he presses the gas and he goes 80 miles an hour right into 3 cars. And not only did he hit these cars, he literally like smashed and rammed his way through all of them. Like literally, it was like he was pushing a train up a track. By the time he pressed the brakes, the damage was done. It was too late. There was like a small red car that was, the back was just destroyed. The car in front of it, the back of it was just like messed up. And then the car in front of that one, that got messed up. So there's 3 cars plus 1 car that's like just completely destroyed. And to be honest, as he was hitting those cars, originally what was gonna be just a grocery run turned into lessons, and then it turned to this. So now, in my mind, as he was hitting all 3 of those cars, I was like, you know what? This is my fault, all right? So once that happened, Jason is in a panic attack. He's just hallucinating, hyperventilating, like all of that. I've never seen a full out panic attack before, but he was literally like just scared out of his mind. And that smash was loud enough for people to come out. And luckily, now this is the one thing that I thank God did not happen. All 3 of those cars were destroyed, but none of the owners came out. None of the owners, even like, I don't know where they were living from, but none of the owners came out. There were people that from other houses that came out. So there was like a group of like 7, 8 people coming around, trying to help us out, trying to figure things out. And we told them what happened. In the middle of that, between us hitting the car and us finishing destroying those cars, like I was already done. I was like, I already accepted the fact that I shouldn't have been messing around. I was just prepared to take any punishment, whatever. So basically, it was just about, at this point, the story goes to me, to my friend, because at this point, everybody's trying to like help him out because he's panicking. He's saying his life is over. He wants to die. He just got out of debt, all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? Me, honestly, like while they were consoling him, even though I was over it, I was trying to like still process it as to the fact that like, how did I end up driving with him that night? Yeah, they called the cops. The people around us were telling us to like get our story straight and like I should take the blame or he should take the blame or whatever. And me, I didn't want to deal with all that. I already accepted the consequences. So as soon as the cops came, the cops straight up, asked what happened, whatever. I just told them straight up everything that happened because I just did not want to make this any more complicated than it was. So once I gave him the rundown, we both gave our driver licenses or whatever. And people were telling us too before the cops came that you could be charged. Like people were telling me that I could be charged teaching people how to drive because I hadn't had my G license long enough. Because apparently you have to have, if you have your G license, you have to have it for a certain amount of months to actually be able to teach people how to drive. I had mine for like well over a year, 2 years, but yeah, I don't know. But by the time the cops came, we were all freaking out, but I was just like, I was already ready to accept whatever was gonna happen. So while that's happening, we were there for a good 30, 40 minutes. So not only are my friends trying to console my friend Jason, the cops noticed this too, and they're trying to, do what they can and help him out too. So, they asked me, see if you can warm up the car for your friend or whatever. Oh, and that's another thing too. Our car, my mom's car, it was already like destroyed, like the front bumper. Like the cop tried to help me like see if we could put the bumper up, but we had to rip it out. So that was already done, but the car still works. So I turned the heater on. He told me, see if you can, heat your buddy up or whatever in the back. My friend Jason goes in the back. He's just straight up sobbing and like even though he was the one driving, I still felt bad because I was the one who whatever, took the car out and put ourselves in this, like in that situation. So like he's crying and all this stuff, and he's worried that the owners of the car are gonna come out. And none of them ever did. We were there for good, like 45, 50 minutes. The cop came, gave us all the information I need to do. Basically, now luckily, I did not get charged with anything. And my friend Jason, however, though, he got like a driving violation or whatever, just like the cop just gave him basic, like, you know, failure to turn at a right violation or whatever. And basically from there, the cop was gonna deal with the other car owners or whatever and just handle it from there. But as for me, he just told me, take the car home, find your insurance company and do all that. And basically, you know, we're on our way. So I had a lot to basically figure out because I wasn't even sure if I was insured. My mom said she took one of us out of the insurance. So I was mostly scared about that. But, you know, two, I had to go drop Jason off and explain to his family, you know, what happened, this and that. On the way there, you know, I drop him off and basically, you know, I talk to the mom and the mom's understanding. And, you know, I just tell him, you know, he's young, whatever, kids make mistakes, whatever. It's all good, right? It's all good. I mean, like, I'm not that much older than him, but, you know, people make mistakes, right? And then after that, I'm on my way home. I'm talking to my friend. He knows more about cars than me. So I'm basically like asking him, you know, what should I do, bro? Like, who should I, like, how does this insurance stuff work? And he gave me some, you know, solid advice. And then on the way there too, I had to call my mom and let her know what happened. And once I told her, to be honest, I did not care. I just wanted to tell her straight up. And I mean, it was like 1 a.m. She was like, just confused, so she just said we'll deal with it in the morning. So I go to bed, and while I'm sleeping, I'm having nightmares about the whole situation. It's playing over in my head, except there's people in the car that we hit, and had someone been in that car, like that would have been just tragic. I mean, for everybody, me and Jason, like we would have had like heavy jail time just for accidentally killing someone alone. By the time I woke up, like I fell out of my bed just because like how traumatic that was. Now by the next morning, my parents, they're looking at the car, and my dad, to be honest, my dad was straight up just laughing. Like, the reason he's laughing is because he thinks that I'm hard-headed, which I'm really not, but I guess whatever, that's what he wants to think. But he's just straight up laughing. Plus he's a driving teacher, so he's just straight up jokes. He's just laughing at the whole thing. My mom, I mean, to be honest, my mom, when it comes to like Caribbean parents, specifically Haitian parents, when you're a kid, like when you get punished, like you get punished. Like if you know, all right? But when you're older and they know like you're supposed to take responsibility, it goes less from like actual punishment to more just straight up talking behind your back, talking to other family members about what you're doing and all this stuff. So my mom, she wasn't snapping on the spot or whatever, but she straight up knew like, well, you know, you did this to yourself, so you know you gotta fix this. And I mean that, and she was talking to her friends, cousins, sisters, brothers overseas, like over the phone about the whole situation, talking about, you know,
my son is a criminal. Look at what he did.
Now the car, luckily it was insured, so I did not have to worry about paying anything out of my pocket other than like a $400 or $500 service fee or whatever. So me and Jason, we ended up like splitting that and taking care of that. And also the cop that got involved, he was actually super chill. Like he even called us like the next day, you know, just giving me info about where to pay and, you know, certain places that'll lower the fine if you like contest it and all that. So he was super helpful. But overall, like for that situation, we were really lucky, extremely lucky. So by the end of all that, I just decided, you know what? Like, you just can't help everybody, all right? Sometimes too much help is just bad for some people. Some people just need to figure it out. And basically, I walked away realizing that. And by that time, too, I decided, you know what? Like, I need to get my own car. I can't just take my mom's car out all the time, as I was doing. But yeah, after all that, you know, me and Jason, you know, we're still cool. We still talk about it from time to time to this day. And yeah, that's really it, guys. That is the end of the story. Now, realistically, if I did hit someone and they died, or not I, but my friend did, to be honest, both of us would have been charged. But I'm pretty sure accidentally killing someone is first-degree murder. I think that's like the lowest degree of murder you can get, which I actually want to know how many years in jail that would have got me at the very minimum. And manslaughter carries no minimum sentence except when it is committed with a firearm, in which case the minimum sentence is 4 years in prison. So that was the minimum sentence for a firearm. I'm pretty sure if it was a car, it would have been a lot more than 4 years. But yeah, nobody got hurt, which is good. So Yeah, if you guys made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching, and peace.